questions on the homework?
You didn't give us homework.
Oh, there was no homework. Oh, imagine that. Sweet. So we just took our quiz. We have three, is it three or two? 1, 2, 3 constructions today, and that is it. So there's your homework on the board. As soon as I take it off of freeze, there it is. 3 constructions. All these are all medium to hard. Medium to hard. These are also the craziest that this would actually work. Especially the last one. The last one's pure magic.
I love that.
You're gonna like this one. No. And at some point, Batman and Robin are going to take off their costumes.
Batman turning to Bruce. Or is it Batman? Oh. Imagine kid says, I want to become Batman, so someone just goes by and kills his parents.
Oh my God. Why did you go dark real quick? I shouldn't even laugh at that.
Just wanted to become Batman. Or you record.
Yes. I might hear from that one that I laughed at that joke. All right. Batman, come on, take your stuff off.
Anything can be had for a price.
That is the funniest thing, dark humor, you said. All right. These are called special segments. So we're going to be dealing with 3 different types of segments and doing something with that. The constructions are, I would say, more medium than hard, but you probably won't remember them unless they're in your book of truth. And since you can put them in your book of truth, no big deal. So hopefully we become comfortable with writing down instructions. If you don't like my instructions, you come up with your own instructions that duplicate the process. All right, so 3, I mean, it's not going to take us more than 15 minutes to get to this, so we're going to finish pretty early today. Construction number 12, really this is construction 13, but construction 12, it does match the one that's in the book. Construction 12. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this thing, and without a ruler, we're going to divide it into equal parts. I mean, clearly we can divide it into 2 parts just by making a perpendicular bisector, right? But what if we wanted to break it up into... Matt, pick a number. Don't say 26.
29.
29, it will take us literally the rest of the class to break it up to 20. 5 is huge. How about
3?
How about it is right there?
1, 2, 3, 4.
2 is equal. You just make a perpendicular bisector. It's broken up into 2. 3. Let's do 3. And it's not because I'm trying to lead you down a path of, oh, I can do it for 3, but I can't do it for 4. You're going to see why you can do it. You can break it up into 10 equal parts using this process. It's just you got to do 10 individual things to it, right? So that's why we're going to do 3. So we're going to break this up into thirds, okay? And we're not using a ruler, and we're not going to make a perpendicular bisector. We're going to break it up into 3 equal parts. Okay. I did not give you the instructions because I was remiss. So you're going to need to write these instructions down. Or I can do one step and you can use your own words. Either one is fine. So I'll do one step at a time. One step at a time. And I forgot to, while you're writing that down, I need to reconfigure here so that my e-learners can actually see what we're doing. My battery is, I told you this yesterday, the battery's gone. It literally gives me a message that says your battery's toast. So if I don't have it plugged in, it dies within 20 minutes. It is, since it's only a 3-year-old computer. Get more than 3 years out of them. Yeah, I told the technical person yesterday, and they were like, oh, we'll see what we can do. All right, start the video. Yeah, that looks good. Now I just got to remember not to stand in front of the screen. Sometimes the video is just me in front of the camera. All right, so there are all the steps, right, written in front of you. E-learners can see them now, and we'll actually do them. Step number 1, you're going to draw a ray from either endpoint. It doesn't make a difference which one. You're just going to draw a ray. How long of a ray? It's up to you. If you want to make your life easy, make it a good size, like not too short. If you make it really short, this is a pain in the butt. So we're going to make a ray from either endpoint, and it doesn't matter which one. So I'm going to pick this one, and I'm going to make a ray. Does it tell you how long to make the ray? You can make it short. You can make it long. The longer it is, the easier this is. That's step 1. Step 2. How many parts do we say we're going to break this up into?
3.
We're going to make 3 equal segments along the ray that we just made. So here's the only thing that is, it's not hard, but you just got to think this through. How wide could I make this? So, and I don't have to make all 3 to go to the very end. I just got to break it up into 3 parts. For me, I'm going to use the whole darn ray or as much of it as possible. So I don't know, I'm kind of guesstimating here. There to there to there, that would be pretty good. Do you see what I just did there? I'm just kind of taking a wild guess at it. And lock that sucker down. So I'm going to go from this intersection of the angle we just made, and I'm going to mark off 1 unit, 2 units, because we said we were going to break it up into 3 parts, 3 units. We wanted to break it up into 4 units, I'd go 1 more. This is why I said don't pick 26, because I would have had to make 26 of those. Plus, that would have been hard to guess. So there's step 2, using the compass in a given radius. A radius is just a name for a distance. Make X consecutive arcs. That just means break it up into how many parts you want to break it up into. Remember, our big goal here is to break the original segment up into 3 equal parts. Okay? Okay, step number 3, it says from the last intersection, draw a segment from here to the end point of the original segment. Okay, so from the last intersection, make a segment that joins the intersection to the end of the original segment. I did that.
Can it go past?
Sure.
Why am I making a triangle?
You'll see why at the end when I say why does this work. But yes, good observation. We made a triangle. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. You see this angle right here? I'm gonna make that angle right here and right here. So I'm gonna make a congruent angle. See this angle right here, not this one, this one. I'm gonna make that angle right here and then right here. So if you can imagine that this is a point and this is a point and that's a ray, I'm just doing exactly what question number 1 was on the quiz that you just took, right? Make a congruent angle. So how do we make congruent angles? What was the first thing you did?
You draw another ray.
I draw not another ray. Okay, it's already there. Done. That was the first step.
Okay, and then you have to measure.
I got to make an arc,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to make an arc from here to here. Okay, so does it matter the distance? No. I'm going to make an arc from here. Oh, that was horrible. I'm going to make it smaller.
Yo, you're embarrassing.
From there to there.
Oh my God.
Okay. And then we repeat that arc over here.
How? Oh wait.
I'm just going to put it here and make the same arc.
I must be doing something.
Yes?
Just shrink it a little.
It's fine.
Yeah, but I can't. That's the thing.
Yeah, you can.
No, I can't.
You can't make it this small.
Okay.
No, because look at.
And then, guess what I got to do? I got to do it for this one.
Another arc?
Yep.
This is small as I can be. This is small as I can be.
Which is why I said don't pick 26. You had to make 26 of these.
It's just that my.
He can't do 1.
No.
So you certainly need to make sure your arc is small enough.
That's as small as I can make arcs.
You turn that little twisty knob on your.
Wait, I did it wrong.
Yeah, and you can mess this one up because you forget which angle you're actually making. Okay, what was the second step of doing this?
Oh, that's why it's so big.
No.
You
measure from here to here.
This is why I would fail that quiz if I didn't have my book of truth.
Agreed. Agreed. This is why every year I have to review these. I don't forget this one, but I certainly forget. I should say I don't forget how to make a congruent angle, but I certainly do forget other things. All right. So from this intersection right here, and from that intersection right here, we take that distance, and we find where they intersect. This can get a little bit messy because you might wind up with finding out that you need extra space.
From where?
So I measured from here to here,
Yeah.
and then I did it from right here, Matt, and from right here, to find out where it intersected the original arc that I drew.
Oh.
I mean, all we're doing is what we did on the quiz.
You just measured it, then you draw two more small arcs.
Correct. I'm finding where it intersects the original arc that I just made. Okay. And it turns out that's it.
One end. So from here.
The last step is I connect
You measured from here to here.
intersection.
You take it from here, and you go to the where it intersects.
And if we did this correctly, where those lines intersect the original segment, you have now broken it up into 3 equal parts. And the question is why? Why did that work? What did we just make on the triangle? Matt said we made a triangle. So what did we just make on the triangle? We made 2 lines that are to this one. We had a theorem a way long time ago that said if you have a triangle and you make another segment inside that triangle that is parallel to one of the sides, then it breaks things into proportional parts. Okay. In other words, if these are equal, which they are, then these have to be equal. I forget the number of the theorem. Okay. I believe this might have been a corollary. You want to confirm? Well, let's see how close we were. This is supposed to break it up into 3 equal parts. So my first part is, well, it's exactly 10. My second one is
10.
Exactly 10. And my last one probably won't be 10.
11.
It's 11. Oh, boy, that. Okay, but you get the idea. How close is yours?
Mine ended up
10 centimeters an inch. This is an inch.
Mine's almost perfect.
Okay. The more accurate you do this, the more careful you are when you do this, the more
I
accurate
don't
it'll
even
be.
know what this measurement is.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Is this centimeter?
Should have words next to it. It
Here,
doesn't.
Let me see it.
Well, that's crazy. This is inches. This is centimeters. The way you can tell is because there's 10 equal marks. All right. 1 of 3. Yes. Do you have everything you need in your book of truth?
Sort of.
Yeah,
Not a challenging one to make, but it is certainly not something you're going to probably pull out from the memory banks there on test day, which is why it should be on your book of truth. All right, we ready to go on? 3 of these. The last one is the one that amazes me. It's pretty cool. All right, so the second one we're going to do, you see the 3 segments? I'm going to make a 4th segment that is proportional to those 3. So if this was something like, I don't know, 1 to 2 to 3, the next one will be to 4. Okay, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So there are the steps. Pause for a second. Step number 1, it says make an angle. Okay, make a big angle. I don't mean like obtuse. I mean make with the legs that are long. So I'm going to make an angle. Make long legs. And it doesn't matter whether it's acute or obtuse, just says just make an angle. There's my angle. You'll see, you'll get a feel for how long it has to be in the next step.
How would that angle even help you? It makes no sense at all.
You'll see, well, I'll explain it why, because guess what we're going to make? We're going to make a triangle. That's why we made it start with an angle. Okay, step number step number 2 says use your compass, and on one leg, it doesn't matter which one you pick, says mark the distances of 2 of these segments. Ethan, which ones you want?
C.
I need 2 of them.
B.
I need 2 of them.
C and B.
C and B. Okay, so I'm going to make the top one. You can make it the bottom one, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make the top one. I'm going to mark off C and B. So, well, that means I got to measure B. Mark off B. So there's B. Make a label so I don't forget. And I'm going to measure C. Make sure I'm not standing in front of the camera. And from that intersection, we mark off C. Now you kind of get a feel for how long it has to be. I made mine way too big, but that's fine. And it doesn't matter which 2 you pick. That's step number 2. Using the compass on one leg, mark the distance of 2 of the given segments. And then as you might anticipate, step number 3 says, now on the other leg, mark the 3rd segment. So that's A. I'm gonna mark that. You'll the magic comes at the very end. I got A, B, and C on an angle, and clearly my angle is way too big. So here's what it says, step 4. It says, connect the end of the 3rd segment, the one you just did, to the end of the 1st segment. Now be careful, when it says 1st segment, it's talking about that. This whole thing is your first one. It's not talking about this, it's talking about that. No, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. I was right the first time. Connect this to that. I had it written right. Notice what I just did? I freehanded that one. Boy, you should use a straight edge. Mine was pretty darn short.
Wow.
Straight.
You can give it to me during class. It's fine.
Wait, Ben is here.
Yeah, he just came back yesterday.
Like fully?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, we did that. It says now make a parallel segment to this one through this point right here. It's kind of the same flavor as the last one, right? I'm going to make a segment that's parallel to this one that goes to this point right here. So I got to look at this angle right here and make it right here. That's pretty darn small. So for me, when I'm actually doing this, I will always save make this one the medium one and make the bottom one the long one, just to make my life a little bit easier, right? But in this case, you guys picked, you can choose any of them. So I got to make an arc.
I don't even think
right? You know what I mean? That's why you kind of, all right, so I got to make an arc from here to here. Well, it's not too bad. It's not too small. So make an arc. Got to hold my point. That worked. Make that right here. Oh, I'm way off. Let's try it again. There we go. And since we've now done this, 40 times, it's not that big of a deal. We measure that part, apply it right here. Oh, that's pretty darn small. Pretty darn small. Okay. This one's quickly done. We're just making a congruent angle, right? You see the angle right here? Step one of making a congruent angle, you make an arc, right? Apply that arc to right here, going through this point right here, right? That's this arc. Then you measure that arc intersection right here and apply it right there. It's the same thing as question number 1 on the quiz, just upside down backwards. Now you take your straight edge, we connect that point through the intersection, and you should now have a parallel. It's pretty parallel. We'll call this one D. And now supposedly D is proportional to the other ones. You want to see why? Hey, you see the small triangle, Matt? You see the big triangle?
Oh my goodness.
Clearly not congruent, but they actually are. Because of angle, they both share this angle, and you just made parallel lines. So corresponding angles are congruent, right? Two lines cut by transversal. These two are parallel. These two are congruent, so therefore angle, they're similar. Therefore, the sides are in proportion. Therefore, A to D has got to equal B to C. That was what we were trying to do. Was trying to make proportional segments. Okay. So your job is to make sure that this is in your book of truth, and you can do this.
I kept everything in my brain. I haven't written down a single step.
Say again?
So far, yeah, I know.
Also, remember, as I stated, I don't know, maybe it was yesterday or on Friday.
I'm a contract tandem.
Guys, I put this in on video form. It's on the web, right? It's on Teams, so you can look this up if you needed to write this down, or watch another demonstration of me doing it. As long as my computer doesn't die like it did yesterday. And then I had to send all my online learners the honors class one. And then what I realized is that in the honors class, I told them what was going to be on the quiz, and it's different than what's on the quiz I just gave you. Because I let them pick one. I said, pick one. I didn't tell them why. I said, pick any of the constructions we did. And they picked number 6. And I said, okay, 6 will be on the quiz. For you, I just said that construction 2 was going to be on the quiz. All right. Last one. Oh boy. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Last one. This is crazy. What is the square root of 36?
6.
I'm going to prove that to you using a compass. No numbers. No measurements.
No,
Compass.
that's literally impossible.
I'm going to show you how you can take the square root of anything using a compass. This is crazy that this works. All right.
This is impossible.
All right. This is straight up magic. Straight up magic. All right. Here we go. Hey, geometric mean. Remember, a geometric mean is, pick 2 numbers, Matt.
3 and 5.
If I multiply those 2 numbers together and take the square root, that's called the geometric mean.
That's crazy.
So we are going to figure out what is the square root, since Matt picked these numbers, of 15. Now, I said we weren't going to use numbers. Clearly, we got to measure 3 and 5, though. We will not be using 15. It's going to be a geometric construction that actually does the square root of 15. All right. So here we go. You need to make 2 segments. Now, the segments are already on your paper. Let's just say, for instance, that this one was 3 and this one was 5. You with me? We'll actually calculate this here in a second. But if this was 3 and this is 5, this will actually calculate the square root of 15 in this construction. Okay? So that's what we're doing. Imagine that was 3 and that was 5. This construction will tell you the square root of 15. Here we go. Well, I'll show you that why at the very end. Step number 1, it says, draw a segment the length of the 2 given segments. In other words, make one segment that's these 2 long. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, step number 1, draw a segment. So I draw a segment. I hope that's long enough. Is that going to be long enough? I hope so. Maybe make it a little bit longer just in case. That would be long enough. Okay, we got to make that segment A and B long. So measure A. Mark it.
B and C.
Measure B.
On our paper, it says B and C, not A and B.
It does?
Yeah.
Crazy. Mark it. All right. Now that segment right there is A and B long. There's A
Segment with two long.
and there's B. Okay. We okay so far? That's step one. It says make a perpendicular bisector of that. Did I give you that on the test, the quiz?
Yes.
Okay, so make a perpendicular bisector. Step number one, open it up to a distance more than half.
You could.
Make an arc above and below
Sorry, my brain is still functioning.
both sides.
We do make it both segments.
Okay.
Do make it both segments or just the whole thing?
Whole thing.
This is hurting me.
Wait till I tell you why this works. It will hurt you even more.
I like pain.
Pain is just weakness leaving the body.
What's the square root of 36? You just break out a complete.
Okay, there is the perpendicular bisector.
So can we start using this instead of trying to...
Boy, this will take you much longer than type it into a calculator.
No, we don't need calculators.
But if you're like...
But you don't need a calculator. You can calculate square roots using this technique. Any square root.
That's pretty gnarly.
Okay, we did that one. We did that one. From the intersection of the perpendicular bisector, you're going to draw a semicircle. The semicircle, you with me?
It's a half
We'll go from, right. We'll go from here to there. So you measure that distance. That's to be the radius. And you actually have to draw the full semicircle. This is like the first one where I actually have to draw the semicircle. The full semicircle.
Oh my gosh, it was actually even.
How did I do this?
So I got to draw the full semicircle.
How do you do this?
I'm what they call a genius. I'm just kidding.
I measured from here to the end, drew that semicircle.
On its belly, is that okay?
What?
On its
You can do that as well too. It's fine. What?
Oh.
What? What? Oh. It's like a rap song, really bad.
What?
I didn't realize.
All right, we're done with that one.
When you said measure from here to there, I thought you were measuring.
2 steps left. The bell's about to ring. We got to get this done. Okay, from the first segment, that's A, we got to make a perpendicular to the top. I'm going to stop right here, and I got to make sure we can do this. Do you know how to make a perpendicular?
Line.
Yes.
Right? If you have 2 lines, right? Arc, connect, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to make a perpendicular from this intersection right here. That's from the end of the first segment right here. We're going to make a perpendicular. So the perpendicular would go right up at 90. And I'm going to go from there right up to this circle that we just drew.
Wait, do we actually need a protractor for that?
No, I mean, you're going to use a standard technique, so I'm just showing you what it will look like. Okay. It turns out, stop what you're doing.
Gone missing. Oh.
It turns out that the length of this is the square root of 15. Question is why? Stay with me. Why would that be the square root of 15? If A is 3 and B is 5, why is that length the square root of 15? Here's the reason. Watch this. We got a circle, yes? If I make an angle from this point to this point, how big is that angle? How big is this angle right here? Why is it 90? Because it went to the diameter. Does this now look familiar from last chapter? Remember, when you had a right angle and you make an altitude through its right angle, remember this was A, this was H, and this was B, and this was what, C and D? That H was equal to the square root of C times D. That's what we got here. Here's your H. H is equal to the square root of 3 times 5. Boom. That's nuts. Chapter 8. That works.
Dude, that's nutty. I mean, that's nuts.
So you can take the square root with a compass. Crazy.
I call lies.
I call cap.
All right, bless you and go away.
Skedaddle, skedoodle.
Oh, my computer's over here. All right, e-learners. The only thing I didn't actually do was make that perpendicular right here. So to do it, you'd go from this end point right here, I'm sorry, you would first from this intersection right here, you would make those two arcs like that, equal distance apart, and then go above and below and connect. That's the only thing I didn't do. I did it with a protractor, so I not cheated, but I didn't use the compass to do it. All right, that was it. Any questions? Anyone live today? Is anyone live? There is no one live. So if you have any questions, send me questions on chat or email, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you don't forget to take your quiz today, 15 minutes.